York when I came over here. And I have directly seen that. I know it to be true in my experiences that I've had in 2 decades. Healing work would involve looking at the life review. You've probably read books or
Yes.
heard of that phenomena that happens. I can tell you that is indeed, that's true. We do that. We have the life review. And from that, there's an assessment that's made, and that will determine the new space that soul will occupy in the spirit world and where that space is. So, have I ever communicated with evil spirits? No. I can truthfully tell you I have not. There are those who have come through, however, that have done things in their life that we would consider probably not the highest and best. An example would be someone that was abusive. I've had readings like that. Someone's dad comes through, and I am seeing an image of him, with a belt or something.
Oh, gosh.
And I will communicate that to the person, but that the dad has now seen the repercussions of the choices that he made when he was here. And he has to balance that, and that's what's called karma. Karma being neither good nor bad, it simply is energy that we've created, that we are responsible for. So based on that, on our consciousness when we died at the time of death, that determines where we go in the spirit world. I hope that answers what you were saying. It's kind of like, there's most people are going to go to the mid range, but I have seen the lower levels, and there's actually, and this is intriguing. What I've seen is there is actually less light there in the lower levels, the ones that are closest in vibration to the earth, and it's just a darker place. But those souls can ascend from there as long as they demonstrate willingness that they want help, and help is always available from those who are trained to do that on the other side.
Let me try and get a comparison for our listeners. Most people listening have seen Ghost with Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg. How close to reality was that movie?
Very close. I have seen the movie several times, and I can tell you I don't look like Whoopi Goldberg. And I'm not bothered all the time like that, or like the Long Island medium that, is constantly, she goes in to buy a bagel and there's, she's hearing from somebody's loved one. I could do that, but I don't want to.
Right.
I turn it off. But it is very similar to that story. And I'll tell you the other movie, Rob, that's very close to what I have personally seen.
Okay.
And that is a movie, I believe it was out maybe 10 years or so, with Robin Williams, called What Dreams May Come.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Have you seen that?
Yes, I have.
Yes, and if you remember, he went to the other side. He was looking for his wife, I believe, and it was very fluid. The depiction of the spirit world was very colorful and very fluid. And that's what I have seen too. The glimpses that I have been blessed to see in the readings that I've done. So both of those, I would say, are good analogies, good examples of what it's like.
What kind of messages do the members of the spirit world give you to give back to those on this side?
Well, the most common message is, I go on after death. I'm still alive. My second book, I titled it, I'm Still With You. That's why I titled the book that. And I heard myself in reading saying that over and over to people that their loved one is still right there beside them. They're just not there physically. So the most common message is, I survived death. My consciousness goes on. Secondly, there are messages regarding the person that's receiving the message to go on with their life, to not stop their life because that person has passed, to honor them by living life to the fullest. And then there's a lot of evidence. I've been trained heavily in evidential mediumship, which means giving facts, giving not generalizations, but the names, the conditions, physically, mentally, emotionally, that the individual had.
So there is no doubt in anyone's mind that the person that you are communicating with is in fact that person.
Quite honestly, very seldom have I ever heard clients say, like, well, I don't really think that was my mom or my brother or my child. Quite honestly, and I say that without any ego involved with it whatsoever. I really, there's a very strong link, and that is why I specialized in evidential mediumship, because it does create a deeper heart connection with the individual who's receiving it. And so if we have a deeper heart connection, healing happens more easily. And so it's all sorts of things. Those are what comes to mind with your question. Those are the most common ones. There's all sorts of things that spirits communicate. Memories to create validation, recent events in the sitter's life, in the family, many things that really prove the continuity of consciousness.
Is it easier to communicate with a younger spirit or an older spirit?
Doesn't matter. I will tell you, probably the most challenging readings are those in which pets come through, because animals do not have language. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of clairvoyance involved, and with clairvoyance, because they're pictures, I have to interpret what I'm seeing. So it's different than, if I hear something, it's
right.
Aside from names that sound very similar, which I can goof up, which happens.
Mm-hmm.
Clairvoyance is a bit more, it challenges me because of that, and animals do come through. They don't die either. So they go with people that they knew and loved in life, in the spirit world.
All right, stand by, Carole. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Exonation, our guest this hour is Carole Obley. Her website is www.soulvisions.net. That's www.soulvisions.net. And Carole and I will be back on the other side of the news as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Once again, if you'd like to contact Carole, visit our website at www.soulvisions.net. We'll be back. Don't go away. Are you considering calling a psychic to read your situation? Then consider David Champion, a psychic medium for more than 20 years with thousands of readings under his belt. David Champion will make you feel comfortable. He has proven to be honest and accurate. He's a straight shooter. There's no guesswork. What he sees is what you get. While he is a medium, most of the calls focus on relationships, not only love, but work, school, neighbors, and more. Need help with finding a job and preparing for the interview? Are you dealing with people who are obstacles in your path? For more information, go to davidchampion.com, $1.50 per minute paid by credit card with a minimum of 30 minutes. For your reading with David Champion, call 1-877-702-8598. That's 1-877-702-8598. Now you can dial in to listen to the X-Zone Radio Show from anywhere in the world with Rob McConnell 24/7, 365 by dialing 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080. If you have a mobile phone or landline, the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is now at your beck and call at 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080, 24/7, 365. Welcome back, everyone. Carole Obley is our special guest. Her website is www.soulvisions.net. That's www.soulvisions.net. Is it harder for you as a medium when a mom or a dad come to you and want to communicate with a child that has passed?
No, yes and no. Yes, it's hard. Sometimes I'm very, let me put it to you this way, I'm very protective of not absorbing anyone's emotions and energy because I deal so much in other people's energy all the time, and I don't want to do that. So when I first began in the early days, I really felt the grief of parents, that were common. There's been a lot of them. Now, no, I read from a detached yet involved place where there's I'm able to really express a lot of compassion, and people. One of the things that people have said about my readings are the level of compassion that's there, and I think that's very necessary to not get down there and be crying with the people, but yet express the understanding that you understand their grief. Although I've never lost a child personally, but to acknowledge that with people. So in my second book, there's a chapter called Forever Young, and there are 4 stories in there directly transcribed from cassette tapes. That's really dating me, isn't it? Cassette tapes that I with people who have lost kids. And the amazing thing about parents, these 4 families that I chose out of my archives to include in the book, was that these people all used the death of a child as a catalyst in their own spiritual growth. And they all went on to do things and create things that they would not have done had they not gone through that tragedy. So I wanted to show in I'm Still With You how this type of communication can help people. It's another tool, if you will, in the toolbox of healing grief. And those people I felt that I included in there in my second book were very good examples of that.
It's almost as if this is part of a plan, that nothing is spontaneous, nothing is the spur of the moment, but it seems to be part of a plan.
Do you mean an early passing, or do you mean
life in general? Because here you're talking to you were talking about these families who, because of the passing of a member of their family, it catapulted them into something else.
Yes.
Do we misunderstand what death really is?
I believe so, and I'll tell you why. Death is it's a transition, and if we think of if we can use the symbol of a bridge, and on one side of the bridge we're in that space, and we begin to move across that bridge into a new space. That's really what death is, and really, in essence, what it is a return to our natural state. This here in the physical realm, in this dense, relatively dense realm that you and I are existing in right now, that is just one small aspect of who we are. The divine self, or the soul self, is what continues forever and ever and ever. And I tell people, it's kind of a joke. I say, I don't believe in life after death. And I get these shocked looks from people, and they're like, what? And I say, I know it. And I put my hand on my heart, because it's not a belief. A belief to me implies that, it's something, well, I think it's true, but I'm not certain. I'm going to trust that. I know it's true. I know.